Just a few days ago, we got a balance patch, and with the balance patch came some cool changes to the stun effect and some primary weapons as well, such as the pacifier and the pummeler. So I'm guessing if you clicked on this video, you're trying to figure out, Pip, which weapon is better after the changes. So first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at the changes, and then we're gonna discuss what I liked about the changes and which weapon overall just felt better. And we're also gonna break down some backpacks because you are gonna need those to actually make these weapons viable. So let's get right into it. The changes they made to the pacifier are: stun duration increased from 1.5 to 3 seconds. This is a huge change, and I've talked about this so many times. I truly believe that previously, before this change, stun was essentially useless, especially when you have stagger in a game like this that was so much better than stun. And on top of that, the big difference is that stagger was on weapons that are simply some of the best weapons in the game, such as the cookout, the purifier, right? There was no reason to use any of the weapons with the stun. So like 1.5 seconds did absolutely nothing. And this is a very, very good change. Then we have the starting magazines increased from 5 to 6. This is also pretty nice in a game where ammo economy is, for whatever reason, always an issue. Max amount of magazines increased from 7 to 8, also very nice. And then we have slight increase in stun value applied to enemies. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more in depth as we move on with the video. The pummeler also had a very similar treatment. Stun duration increased from 1.5 to 3 seconds, and slight increase in stun value applied to enemies. Now keep in mind, the pacifier does 50 damage with 700 RPM, and then the pummeler does 70 damage with 475 RPM. First, let's talk about the pacifier. Right away, as you bring any of these two weapons, by the way, you will notice that the stun feels better, right? It just does. It's doubled. So yeah, it is finally effective to the point that you're going to be able to shoot one enemy, then move on to the next one, stun the other, and you're just going to feel good about it. Previously, that was impossible. They would get out of stun instantly, and unless you would kill them right away, you would be taking damage, and that's essentially what made them very useless, because at that point, I can just kill them with other weapons that do better damage. So if I'm not getting stunned, if I'm not getting anything out of it, why am I using a weapon with 50 damage when I can be using a weapon with 70 plus damage with better RPM and just take out the enemies, right? So now that issue is gone. The 3-second stun is definitely noticeable. Now, where it gets interesting for both of these weapons is the slight increase in stun value applied to enemies. Yes, you do get the stun, but you still need a lot of shots. I feel like the stun buildup is still gonna end up being an issue. I really do. I think that another like 30% faster would make them much more viable. Once again, I'm not saying they're horrible, right? They're definitely much better. But in order for me to have an actual reason to pick them up, I think they still need a little bit more. And I promise you this, they are not gonna be overpowered, right? It goes back to the conversation of, for example, when some people thought that the ARs would be absolutely insane, but if you gave them more ammo, but then the weapon customization came along and they're still not insane. They're okay. They got better ammo. They're much more usable and viable, but they're not overpowered. And that was always the conversation where, dude, if you give them like the drum mags, they're going to be broken. They're going to be overpowered. Well, guys, guess what? We have those drum mags in the game. And no, those weapons are not overpowered at all. So I think that giving them a little bit better stun buildup would make them better, but it wouldn't make them overpowered. Now, where these weapons will shine a little bit better would be Predator Strain. In general, stun is very effective against Predator Strain, and so is stagger because of the speed of the enemy, right? Like the biggest thing you can do against them is slow them down and crowd control them. And having both of those things in one is going to be very nice, and 3 seconds is a lot of time for that. So out of these two weapons, which one did I enjoy more on max difficulty? Overall, it comes down to a few things. Number one, playstyle. Which one do you like more? Fast firing weapons? Do you like slower RPMs? That really will make the difference. However, there is one thing that you need to keep in mind. And if I was to use these weapons just for stunning, right? Let's say that's my only goal, just to use the weapon as a stun machine, and then we're going to discuss the build, and I'm going to explain why that could be viable. in that case, you have to take a look at the customization. And if you do, you will see that the one and only pummeler obviously has a drum magazine, and it brings your capacity to 75. And guys, 75 in the magazine when you have a 3-second stun could be really fun. Once again, just depending on the loadout that you're gonna go for, because you do need to build around it, right? Now, if you take a look at the pacifier, it does not have the same treatment, and you have only 40 bullets instead of like the crazy amount you get on the pummeler. When it comes to build crafting, it really will make a difference, at least in my experience, to have those 75 bullets, because keep in mind that your main goal with these weapons is to stun. If you really want to kill enemies, you got a bunch of better weapons to do that, right? So if we take that into consideration, and if we create the loadout with that in mind, then the value of me having more bullets, which means more stuns, is very good. And in that case, the drum mag on the pummeler puts in work. But now let's talk about loadouts and how you can make these weapons actually viable on higher difficulty. Well, one of the coolest tools that I found that worked really well with the pummeler, especially against the bugs, was the laser rover. It was awesome, man. Like, you could just absolutely stun these enemies at all times with the amount of shots that we had, and then the laser puts in work. And it does melt, right? Like, fire is incredible at the moment, so it gets the job done really well. And don't get me wrong, you can use it with the pacifier as well. Like, anything that just does that kind of damage without you have to do anything, essentially, is gonna work really well. Now, if your question is, Pip, what do you think about the, for example, the arc backpack, right? The one that zaps. I think that that wasn't as effective, and the reason for that is, as I'm stunning these enemies, I want something that quickly attacks them and takes them out, right? Like, if I use the arc one, it takes too long to zap, and yes, sometimes it zaps a lot of enemies, but then again, sometimes it just shoots thin air. So for me, the laser was much more consistent. You can use the liberator one as well, which, you know, just deals damage. I do think that it just reloads a little bit too often, and that cooldown, you're gonna feel it. So once again, from my experience, no matter which faction I went against, the laser felt extremely good with both of these weapons and made them work. Now, there is one more thing that you could do that will take your whole crowd control aspect to the next level. And what this will offer is like a full-on kind of support crowd control playstyle, and that's actually really fun. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick up either the pummeler or pacifier. As I said, I prefer the pummeler in this case, and then I will combine it with a gas rover, right? And when you're playing against the bugs, for example, in a team environment, no matter if it's normal bugs, predator bugs, whatever it's gonna be in front of you, the point is you're gonna have so much CC that you're literally gonna make the runs much more easier for the whole team. Just imagine the fact that you're going to be able to stun the predators with your weapon for 3 seconds, right? And then on top of that, the gas rover is going crazy. And not only is the gas rover gonna stun smaller enemies, but we're talking, for example, the chargers as well. Now, the cool thing here is that you can even take that to the next level. And what I mean by that is you can pick up the gas grenades as well. And now you're a full-on support / crowd control player, and you're making everybody's life so much easier. And let's be honest, nobody enjoys getting absolutely annihilated by predator bugs, and to have somebody in the team that can take care of that and slow everything down on the battlefield, that is more than welcome. Nobody's kicking you anytime soon, right? Like, they're definitely gonna feel the difference. But then again, this is Helldivers. People kick each other for no reason whatsoever. But you guys get the point, right? Like, the build is gonna be very fun to use and very effective on maximum difficulty. So it really does come down to the rovers though, because these weapons do fall off when it comes to like their own damage, in my opinion, because of fire rate and whatever. You will need one of these rovers to make these weapons actually viable on maximum difficulty. And if you're not doing that, there's no reason to use them. There's really not, because the main thing here is just going crazy on the stun then you need some kind of damage. Now, if you're playing solo, you can actually make this work with the rovers as well. And if you're thinking, but Pip, what if I'm playing in a group and, you know, I just stun and my teammates kill it? Well, yeah, that's why I mentioned the crowd control aspect of it, right? But a lot of the times in Helldivers too, if you don't have a pre-made team, people don't even stick together. One runs that way and the other one runs the other way. And you know what I mean? Like, you're not really utilizing the team aspect of the game that much. But if you do get some kind of cool team synergy going, yeah, you can make it work. Like, for example, if you have 2 players or more with stun weapons and all of the backpacks that I just mentioned, I could see you finishing like a Predator bug match without even dying, because that's that amount of CC. Like, we've managed to finish Predator games solo with like 1 death. So if you have 4 people that have so many stun weapons and so much CC, yes, you're gonna have very big success. And that's what I'm saying, right? Like, it all depends on how you play around it. But overall, in the future, I still do hope that they do something with the stun. Just make it a little bit faster build up on stun. It's not gonna break the game. There's nothing to be scared of. People still will be using the other stronger weapons way more than a pummeler that is gonna stun 1 bullet faster than it used to. You know what I mean? Like, they just will. And I feel like we are moving in the direction where the devs are kind of seeing that now, that, oh, I think it's okay to increase the damage from 75 to 80 and it's not gonna break the game. Oh, I think it's okay to give Pacifier 1 magazine more. It's not gonna break the game. And I think that at the end of the day, that's what needs to happen in order to keep the replayability and fun aspect of the game. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the weapon changes, the stun changes. Are you happy with it? Do you guys also think it needs a little bit more? Do you think the ammo economy also needs to be bettered? Where do you guys see all of the issues? What do you guys enjoy about the balance changes? I would love to hear all of it in the comment section below. I got tons of more content on the way, so stay tuned for that. As always, stay positive, stay disciplined, and I'll see you all on the next one.